Yo, what up? It's your boy Soulo. Now we're back here again with another episode, and this is gonna be about how humans should be, taking care of Earth and the environment that we live in, nature, more than themselves and what they desire, or what they care about. That's, not really important in how we conduct ourselves to this environment we live in, and how things can lead us to make us do, you know, unnecessary things that's synthetic, that's not unaligned with nature or God or the divine or whatever people think, some scientific retarded shit that created Earth, which is a lot deeper than that. If you're into science or if you're religious, you might think something outside of you created the Earth, but we all kind of trying to point to the same thing, but it's not that simple when you're trying to have good faith and imagine things and still chasing after your desires and putting more importance to that than meditating and understanding nature and why things are happening. Because we got religious people who are more into their desires, more into an ego than understanding nature, just understanding the world. It's just a common sense thing right there that makes it more relatable towards nature. And how to, if you really cared about God or nature, God would tell you, the creator would tell you whatever you think you believe in outside of you. It will want you to, have morals, just like, your God Jesus or whatever, Allah, and or whatever you believe in. It could be Barney or something, and it would tell you to point out what's happening around the world and speak up about it, and point out corruption and shit like that, point out how natives got slaughtered by the white people, and white people try to take over and implement all these. You all have common sense that not all white people, but people who are in power, and they take advantage of people, and we just know how corrupted everything is. They spend so much money in war, and our tax money goes to nowhere, and that's our money that should be implemented onto the environment in a in a procedure where it's beneficial for everybody, and healthy, spiritually healthy in a morally way. Shout out to natives, and shout out to Uriel, Dolo the Spider Man. And if we're taking care of Earth and nature, God would tell you to take care of Earth and the home. But we also got people in government who are greedy and lost. They're not smart. They're just in their ego and in some bullshit. So people need to wake up and stop caring about what you take from Earth, because you wouldn't have that stuff if it wasn't for Earth, and you're living on Earth. So we created Earth. We're creating Earth. The spirit created the mind bent in, it went into that image, it created an idea, and that vibrated, that came down, that became physical. So we're all doing this simultaneously, and this is what's creating our environment, Earth. So it's the Great Spirit creating a mind, an intelligence. It would be any other way. Everything is perfect. We got trees, bushes, animals, water, air, land, people being relatable, a lot of types of humans with intelligence. The spirit created a mind and intelligence. That intelligence was an image, an idea, and that idea became heavy and dense because it was traveling. This is what we're all doing as humans, and as spirits, this is what we're doing. We're just becoming aware, conscious, and during that astral travel, that image that we're going into, these things becomes feelings, like visions, feelings. It starts creating chakra wheels and shit like that, and you begin to feel and vibrate towards things like that. Like, it's just what the spirit is doing. It's just traveling and gaining momentum and shit like that, and just vibrating in certain spectrums of light that's condensing into this physical reality that we're in now. So it's kind of deep, but you know, that's how we're creating things from within. And you know, if people want to believe in God, just know the best, or whatever science, the best thing to do would be taking care of the environment, because if it wasn't for, where else would we be on? You know, if there was no earth, then we wouldn't exist. And that's what it is. So I'm gonna just leave it at that, and peace.